What's up, guys? Here with one of my best friends, best training partners, Baby Joe, and we're gonna review some Kimura stuff for you guys today. So we're gonna start here. He has a body lock. We're gonna start really simple here. Some drills to get into the Kimura. So from the body lock, I like to start to peel his hands and sink my hips down so he can't lift. And now if there's a little bit of space, we're gonna start to pummel inside. Make sure that you go around the bicep tricep area. And once I get my Kimura grip, I'm not using any thumbs. So now I have 2-on-1 control, Baby Joe's arm. I can start to break the grip, start to turn in. I'm gonna turn all the way in, and now I'm gonna give him my leg, basically, okay? So my leg goes in between his legs. I'll step here, and now I'm gonna sit and lift Baby Joe. So here, okay. As soon as we get to this position, I want to start to turn my hips down and keep my elbow in really tight this way. All right, so a common mistake that we make is our elbow goes this way, and then that can lead to a scramble. So you want to keep everything really tight here, and then turn your hips down, and look how I'm almost perfectly parallel with my opponent. I didn't fall any other way, so that means that we have a couple options from here. Wherever he goes, we can follow. Okay, so from the body lock, Baby Joe has a good grip on me. I start to fight two hands on one. See my hips good and low, strong base. Get my Kimura grip here, no thumbs. I'm gonna just try to break that grip, okay? As soon as I break the grip, I'm gonna turn into my opponent and I step. I wanna step on the same plane as this foot right here. So I step here, okay? And I give him my leg. So 1, 2, sit and roll. Okay, now as soon as we land here, both of our backs on the mat, I want to turn my hips down immediately. And I remember to always keep your elbow inside. So you basically want to be like your forearm right inside of his jaw, right on the collarbone. As opposed to being straight on, you want to keep everything good and tight, cinched up. Okay. So now let's get into when my opponent starts to attack a single leg, not a body lock, but he starts to come in here, picks up my leg, boom, single leg. Yeah, it's gonna be just like this. Okay. So the first thing I need to do is beat his head position. So if his head stays inside, it's gonna be hard for me to reach his arm. So I'll use my hand, I'll push his forehead and get his head to the outside. This works for a head, like a, kind of like a single leg with his head outside, almost like a high crotch. Or it also works if he's reaching for a double leg, just as well, okay? So with this grip right here, I'm gonna attack a Kimura. So I'm gonna go here, Kimura grip. And now I want to step the same plane as his feet are planted, and we can get the roll here. We can achieve the same position. So I'll step, sink my weight here. Now as soon as we land, hips down, and elbow inside of his jaw, of his neck right here. Okay. So that's how we're gonna get to the exact same position with the single leg. Doesn't matter what leg. I push the head to the outside. I'll hump for the arm. If I can get here, I'm gonna eliminate a lot of his wrestling ability. So step, roll, hips down, elbow in. All right, so another entry to Kimuras. These are probably the most common positions that you're gonna find Kimuras in. I think a lot from the feet, wrestling situations, and when our opponent's playing guard, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step in 1 foot at a time. So I wanna step right between his legs. I don't want him to get shin to shin or anything like that. So when I step in, watch, okay? If I just step in, he's gonna be able to wrestle me, okay? And we can also go for Kimuras when he does wrestling like this. But I gotta be careful. So when I step in, I keep my elbow attached to my knee. So in the event that he does get around my leg, I can still have the underhook, okay? This is kind of besides the point, just talking about basic position in Jiu-Jitsu, but it's very important. We don't just wanna step in, give him the single leg. So when I step in, I'm really good and tight. Okay? I'm gonna use my hand, I want him to post his hand on the mat, okay? Or if he reaches or something like that, I can do the same thing. Here, just go for the Kimura. But a lot of guys are not just gonna reach here. They're gonna set up a little bit smarter. So what I do is I push his head to the mat. Watch when I push his head to the mat, he's gotta post out. Yes, like this. So one more time. Step in, push his head to the mat. Now I don't wanna trap his head inside. It's gonna be a little tough to get your Kimura tied up. So what I do when I push his head to the mat, I take his head away here. And look how I sink like really low for the knee slice. So now I'm just gonna wrap his arm up here. Take his hand off the mat. I want to look in between my own legs and give a forward roll over my right shoulder. So when we start to do this a little bit, we roll over our wrong shoulder. So you have to look away from your opponent every time and give it a roll. So as tight as you can, give it a roll, slow and controlled. Now before my hips hit the mat, right here, I'm already turning my legs, my hips down and keeping my elbow inside. Okay, like we talked about previously, everything's in line, everything's good and tight. So I'm gonna step in, everything's good and tight. I don't just wanna step in nonchalant and give him a good position. He's gonna set it up and now my Kimura game is not gonna be there. So everything stays good and tight. I use my hand, push his head out. If he's already posting on the mat, then I wouldn't have to do that, right? I could just sink in and go for the Kimura. So he's not gonna be posting. He's pretty smart, he's really good at Jitsu. I push his head, take his head away. Now we don't always have to go for the Kimura grip right here. Sometimes we can just go with the live hand. I like this a lot. And when I first learned this, the way it clicked for me is, we talked about having a Kimura. This is my key lock hand for the Kimura. So I can not even have to get a Kimura grip, I can just keep a live hand. So this can assist you with rolling at first. That means you have a free hand to roll, okay? So if you don't feel super confident with getting your Kimura tied up, then just go with a live hand here, like wave to your mom in the audience, post your hand, and you can roll from here. Now, as soon as we roll, we want to start tying that thing up and get back to our Kimura grip. Everything's good and tight from here. All right, so from the body lock, or from the single leg, or from the rolling Kimura, we ended up in this position right here. Okay, so I flip my hips down. I'm basically just like sprawled out and I have control of his arm. Okay, so the first finish that we're gonna talk about, I'm gonna start to switch my hips. So you guys can see like naturally your left leg is gonna be kind of up. All right, the way I think about this is like Spider-Man crawling up a wall. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch my legs and bring my waistline all the way to his shoulder. Okay, you're gonna feel like it's a little bit high, but that's exactly what you want. So as I switch my base, my right leg comes up and my elbow goes to the mat in between his armpit, here, okay? And what you wanna do is like give a heavy sprawl on your opponent's shoulder. And it's not like a typical Kimura finish where you're cranking the arm. All you're doing is you're creating a lever with your Kimura grip and you're sprawling your hips heavy on the shoulder, okay? That's super tight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
The higher you get, the heavier it's gonna be. So my right leg's up, I'm just gonna really sprawl my hips. Tight, right?
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable.
So one more time, and this may not be 100%, but it's definitely something that we can go for. All right, that's all we're gonna do is give you options. If you keep your Kimura grip, you can do a lot of things with it. Submit, sweep, take the bag, finish, all that kind of stuff. So here, right leg comes up, my elbow goes to the mat, and I might have to kind of wiggle my way around, find the best position for me, and really heavy sprawl right there. And that's the first finish right there. So the second finish, we try to finish this one, maybe it's not working. So what I can do from here is get it to my knees, keep everything tight. I'm gonna open my right elbow and lift him on his side. Lift my opponent on his side. Now let's turn this way a little bit. Okay. You can see this arm right here. What I wanna do is start to step over his leg. So I want to stable my shin on his bicep here. Okay. This just helps me to keep this arm away, and that way he can't make a grip or do like a rear naked choke defense or whatever. The best defense is from here. So I can just stable this bicep. It's not always going to be there, but if it is, it's a good option to go to. Okay. Now I step up here, and I'm going to pinch my knee to his shoulder blade. Okay. Turn this way a little bit more. So I lift him up on his side. I get to my knees, start to flare. Step, 1 and 2. I'm good and tight. So from here, I talk a lot about, move just a little bit more, right? A lot about like a 3-part movement. You might think to just rip it, right? And yes, that can work. But a lot of times, even if especially if we're in the gi, like he's gonna be grabbing his belt, right? Or grabbing his material or something. So you wanna open it up. So 3-part movement. I'm gonna take the grip away here. I'm gonna bring his elbow to my chest and keep it glued there. And now from here, it's gonna be very simple. Just turn a little bit and finish the Kimura, okay? if we don't keep the space between our elbow and our chest minimal, like this, then you're gonna see a big turn. You guys see the difference from here. Baby Joe's not even tapping. Taps right there. But if I pull the shoulder up first, it makes everything so much tighter. And then I turn, look where he's tapping. Look how much difference that was. So I go 1, 2, and 3, turn my whole body into it, just like that. Submission. Third submission, we're just gonna keep it on a roll and start to flare, okay? Maybe I try to go for the Kimura and it's just not gonna be there. So I can just simply stand up a little bit, keep my hips low, and I'll turn right to the arm bar. So from here, I keep a tight Kimura grip. I'm gonna scoop my elbow to his wrist, pinch my knees good and tight, and finish the straight arm lock. That's really simple. One more time. Pick him up on his side. I'll clear the arm if I can. Try to finish the Kimura, it's not there. All I do is just swivel. So I put my right foot's already on the mat. I just kind of swivel here. I'll sit, good control, keeping his shoulder in between my legs, really tight. And look how my foot goes underneath his shoulder blade. That's gonna make the arm bar even tighter. Here, elbow to the wrist, everything's good and tight. Straight arm. Okay, so from the north-south position, north-south position, we end here, okay? So my opponent is now, he's gonna start to turn into me, okay? Give me this common reaction, just like so. So I keep everything good and tight. Now look, as soon as I get this space right here, that's what I'm looking for. My knee is gonna slide in. So I go here, my knee slides in. Okay, everything's good and tight. If I can, I'm gonna start to throw my hook in, just like so. So if you can see, I have my bottom knee in and my top hook in, okay? Now, as soon as I get here, I like to personally keep the Kimura grip just a little bit. Here, I'm gonna start to pull Baby Joe to the left. As soon as we're about this position right here, I'm gonna switch to my seatbelt, take him all the way over to the other side and get my other hook in. So what's really important there is getting our knee on bottom, because it's gonna serve as getting our bottom hook in first. It's not quite the same, but if you get it right and you keep everything tight, it's gonna serve a good purpose. What you don't wanna try to do is just go with your top leg over and not your bottom knee in, because then they can get their back on the mat and then you're just gonna reset the position. So you can be really smooth and elegant with this technique. As soon as it starts to turn in, look how I kind of like give myself a little bit more energy. I'll kind of like skydive and bring myself in, bottom knee through the space, okay? Top leg over, my first hook. Now I pull the Kimura grip to me. So if I'm here, you guys can see why I keep it tight. If I'm here, it does not serve the same purpose. It's gonna be hard to control my opponent. So I keep his hand really tight here. Okay, you feel the difference?
It's almost like a frame, right?
It's a frame, yeah. So now I pull. I want to get him on top of me. Then I can start to open up. If you want to go to the gift wrap, you can do that. I personally just like to go for the back a lot. And I take the back from here. So when my opponent starts to turn in, when he turns in, I'm going to get my knee in, okay? And sometimes, like Baby Joe, I know I'm going to have a really hard time taking his back and controlling. Yeah, maybe he does that. So what I can do is just throw my leg over here. Start to attack the arm bar from this position. Okay, that can be there a lot. So one more time. He turns in. 1, 2, arm bar. Let's talk a little bit about the actual Kimura grip itself. It's something that helped me out a lot. So when you get the Kimura grip, what you're aiming for is, I'm just gonna use Baby Joe in this position right quick. What you're aiming for, of course, we don't want to have any thumbs. We want to use monkey grip. And the reason is, have you ever like caught your thumb like this and it hurts really bad, like maybe catching a football or something, like you can jaw your thumb back like that? We want to try to avoid that, okay? So when I get the Kimura grip, thumbs together, monkey grip, I'm gonna aim for 2 fingers on his hand and 2 fingers on his wrist. And I do the same thing with my arm. So I go 2 fingers on my hand, 2 fingers on my wrist. And this really creates the best leverage that you're gonna have. You can even go, if you feel it, especially in the gi where he has grips, you can start to squeeze the hand. This is perfectly legal to squeeze the hand. You can't go 3 fingers or less, or really even grab the fingers sometimes, but you probably be safe grabbing here. You gotta be careful a little bit, but Here, 2 fingers on the hand, 2 fingers on the wrist, 2 fingers on my hand, 2 fingers on my wrist, and now we have a good Kimura grip, okay? And what I do sometimes, I'll do the opposite of a twist grip on a dirt bike or something. So I'll roll my wrist forward, okay? Both of them sometimes. Sometimes I even make a fist with my key lock hand. It just kind of hurts a little bit worse, okay? It makes everything a little bit tighter. But if we keep the concept of having monkey grip and getting our hands in the right position, we're gonna avoid burning out our arms because it can be easy to do, especially with a big strong guy like Baby Joe. If I try to Kimura him, I'll burn myself out if I'm a little bit off of my position. Okay, see the difference from here to here, okay? All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit about like a little trick, something that you guys can try. So going from a Kimura to a Darce, okay? So a lot of times this Kimura specifically is gonna be kind of hard to finish, right? So when you feel that grip's not there, like you can't break the grip, you don't have control of this arm, what you can do is start to let go and feed this arm over and underneath his neck to attack the Darce. So as soon as I get here, a couple details on the Darce, I want to put the top of my shoulder right underneath his armpit and pick his head up. Okay, let's turn this way a little bit. So I want to pick his head up because what my opponent wants to do is to stretch out, yeah, and not let me get the Darce. So by picking his head up, like not with just my hand, but with my whole arm, okay, I pinch his ear to his shoulder, and now it's gonna be really hard for him to escape. Yep. So if you feel like your arms are not long enough, you can start to get up on your shoulders and really shoot this one through. Okay, so get that shoulder underneath the armpit here. Now watch my elbow. I open my elbow, I keep contact with his head, and I push all the way through until I can grab my bicep. And I wanna get my wrist in there too, not just my fingertips, but my wrist. With this hand, I tap his shoulder. You can sprawl to finish or fall to your hip, my bad, and start to walk and get the tap. So a little bit about the Darce with the Kimura setup. So here you have the Kimura. Here, oh, you can't finish. Maybe you don't feel like going for the arm bar or whatever the case may be. So just feed this arm through. 1, 2, open. Get that thing getting tight. Sprawl your hips if you'd like. Or my favorite, personal favorite, I hit my hips and I walk, and I get the finish.